Good morning, all. Today we are going to discuss transistor operating point and transistor biasing. Uh, First two, three slides related to third unit, then remaining all are related to fourth unit. The main fourth unit concept is operating point and DC biasing. What are different types of DC biasing and stabilization concepts, right? Okay, in third unit, last topics are DC analysis of common emitter circuit. Okay, DC analysis of different configuration circuits. Already we know that among CC, CB, CE configuration, CA is the most popularly used. Already we know some advantages compared to CB and CC. Okay, this is some biasing techniques. Already we know that the main application of transistor in active region is it act as a amplifier. Suppose if your input signal is something like this, when we observe the output side like this, amplified version of your input signal. Okay, it act as a amplifier. Okay, now this is the observe here dotted lines here. A dotted line is the equivalent circuit model representation of a BJT, bipolar junction transistor. Okay, here in active region or forward active region, emitter base junction is forward bias. Okay, base to emitter junction is forward bias. Simply there is a one diode is connected here, and the voltage across diode is nothing but a VBE, base to emitter voltage on. Then coming to the collector, already you know BJT transistor is a voltage controlled current source. So at the output side represents some current source. Okay, the symbol represents the dependent current source, right? Dependent current source. Okay, and two resistors, external resistors RC and RB, and two external DC supply, namely VBB and VCC. Okay, okay, these two external DC sources are used to keep the transistor such a way that base to emitter junction is forward bias and collector to base junction is in reverse bias, right? Okay, coming to the analysis. Here the analysis is nothing but okay, observe here the word analysis. Analysis is nothing but find the different unknown quantities in the circuit. So this is the circuit diagram. What are the unknown quantities? Unknown quantities are current, input current IB current, similarly output current IC, similarly output voltage VCE. Okay, these are the unknown quantities. Okay, nothing but voltages and currents, unknown voltages and unknown currents. Once again here, we have to find the input current IB, similarly output current IC, output voltage VC. These are the unknown quantities. What are the known quantities? Known quantities are RB, RC, VCC, VBB, right? Then what is the functionality of here the transistor enter this circuit is this is the amplifier circuit. Okay, this is something we are not applied any AC signal here so far, but the configuration is the DC configuration is amplifier configuration. Okay, okay, with the help of known quantities, what are the known quantities? VBB, VCC, and two resistor values RB and RC. We have to find three unknown quantities IB, IC, and VC. Okay, this is nothing but an analysis. Okay, finding the unknown quantities in the circuit like currents and voltages is nothing but an analysis. There is a one more word used in the circuits, that is design. Okay, design. Designing means he given some power ratings of a transistor, like collector current information, something beta information, right? From that, given some collector current information and power supply information and gain information, we have to find the resistor values RB and RC. Okay, that concept is called the design concept, right? Okay, there is a small difference between analysis and design. In analysis, you know the resistor values and power supplies, find the unknown currents and voltages. Whereas in design, you know the current information and power supply information and beta information. With the help of these three, find the resistor values RB and Rs. Okay, that is the difference between analysis and design. Now coming to where this, now we are discussed in analysis part here. Analysis means find the unknown current and unknown voltages with the help of known quantities VBB, VCC, RB and RC. Simply apply KVL to this loop, input side loop. You can easily find IB current. Similarly, apply KVL to the output loop. We can easily find IC current, right? IC as well as VC. Okay, this is the KVL to the base loop. What is KVL here? Here the KVL is VBB minus IB into RB minus VBE is equal to 0. This is the KVL. KVL for the previous circuit. This is the circuit. For this circuit, this is the KVL. Now apply this loop here. Input side loop. What is the direction here? VBB minus, this is the plus and minus. Consider the second polarity. IB into RB minus drop across this diode. Observe here equivalent in the equivalent circuit figure B. So VBB minus IBRB minus VBE is equal to 0. Okay. From that you can easily calculate input current IB, that is equal to VBB minus VBE on base to emitter voltage of a diode on. This is typical value here, some 0.6 to 0.7. You may consider some 0.7 volt. Okay, VBB minus 0.7 by RB. Or simply sometimes if VBB is very much greater than, then we may neglect VBE on, then IB mainly depends upon VBB by RB, right? Now similarly, now coming to the, once you know the base current, collector current IC is equal to beta times IB. In active region, the relation between base current and collector current is IC is equal to beta times IB. Now apply KVL to the output loop. Observe here, this is the output loop here. Okay. Sorry. Now apply KVL to the output loop here. VCC is equal to IC into RC plus VC. From that output voltage is equal to VCE, output voltage is equal to VCC minus IC into RC. So this is input current, this is output current, this is output voltage. And coming to the power. Okay, how to calculate the power dissipated in a transistor. Okay, total power dissipated in a transistor is equal to, okay, already in a power formula, power is equal to V into I. At the input side, IB into VBE. At the output side, IC into VCE. Okay, generally IC very much greater than IB, so that we may neglect this first term. Then the power dissipated in a transistor approximately equal to IC into VCE. Okay, already we discussed this problem. Again, we repeat here. These are the given values VBB, VCC, RC, and RP. From that, find the unknown quantities. What are the unknown quantities here? IB is the unknown quantity, IC is the unknown quantity, VC also unknown quantity, right? And consider the beta is equal to 200. Now, by using previous equations, what is IB current? IB is equal to VBB minus VB on by RB, that is equal to 15 microamperes. Once you know the IB current, what is IC current? IC is equal to beta times IB, that is equal to 200 into 15 microamperes, 3 milliamperes. Sorry. Now VC is equal to, remember these expressions, right? Okay. VC is equal to VCC minus IC into RC. So VC is equal to VCC minus IC into RC, that is equal to 4 volt. And emitter current is sum of base current and collector current, that is equal to 3.02 milliamperes. Right. Now we slowly entered into load line concept here, load line and modes of operation. And the given circuit is a CE configuration. Observe here the input. These are the input characteristics. Okay, now what is input characteristics? It is nothing but a diode characteristics, right? Somewhere like this. Or you may neglect, okay, RF, etc. All these things. Okay, this is the something like it is a diode model. Conserve only V gamma. Okay, if this one is RF also, exponential thing. This is consideration of RF, dynamic resistance, RF and V gamma. But here in the problem, he considered only V gamma, that is equal to 0.7 volt. Okay, first of all, draw this line. Okay, 0.7 volt line, vertical line at and the graph versus x-axis is input voltage and y-axis is input current, VBE versus IB. Now VBE is equal to VBE on, right? Okay, here the voltage is equal to 0.7. Okay. Now, then how to draw the load line? Observe here how to draw the load line. Okay. Here, when we consider this y-axis, okay, at this point, x-axis value is equal to 0. VBE is equal to 0. What is expression for IB? IB expression is equal to, so VBB minus VBE by RB. Okay, this is IB expression, right? Now, in this IB expression, VBE is equal to 0. Okay, this is the y portion, right? Sorry, this is VB is the x-axis. Okay, VB is equal to 0. When VB is equal to 0, what is IB value? IB value is equal to VBB by RB. Okay, so this is the remaining. Okay, keep one point here, VBB by RB. Now let us identify something like a point A. Okay, okay, that is equal to 18.2 microamperes according to previous data. Now how to plot the x-axis point? Suppose this is point B. How to identify the point B? Same, only at the input side loop. While drawing this one, y-axis IB is equal to 0. Okay, same this expression here. Take RB into left hand side and IB is equal to 0. What is here? VB is equal to VBB. Now, whenever IB is equal to 0, IB is equal to 0. Same in the above expression. What is VBE? VBE is equal to VBB. VBE is equal to VBB. Okay. Now, if you connect these 2 points, point A and point B. Point A is how to identify point A. X value is equal to 0. In input KVL equation, X value, X axis value. What is X axis? VBE. VB is equal to 0. Then IB is equal to VBB by RB. Okay, that is point A. Point B, same in input KVL expression. Y axis value is equal to 0. What is Y axis? IB is equal to 0. Then VB is equal to VBB. Now connect these two. While drawing these 2 points, right, this is called the load line, input load line, right? Okay, when drawing this load line, there is a one point, intersection point. That point is called the Q point, input Q point or quiescent base current point. Observe, quiescent point. Okay, now that point is intersected exactly at IB value. Previously we calculated IB is equal to 15 microamperes. Okay, this is about DC load line at input side, because generally load line plotted at output. Okay, now this is the C characteristics, right, for different inputs. Now we are interested only at input. What is input here? 15 microamperes, right? Then how to draw this load line concept here? Same as input concept here. Okay, same as input concept. First of all, note down the KVL equation. In KVL equation, what is KVL equation here? VCC minus IC into RC minus VCE is equal to 0. This is output KVL equation, right? In that expression, VCE is the output voltage that is related to the x-axis. Similarly, IC is the output current that is related to the y-axis. Okay, how to identify the point A here? Suppose here the point A. Point A is x-axis value is equal to 0. So VC is equal to 0. What is IC? IC is equal to VCC by RC. So this point A value is equal to VCC by RC. Right? Okay. Now what is point B here? Point B. Okay. Here in point B, y-axis same in the KVL equation. Now IC is equal to 0. VCE is equal to VCC. So this point B is VCC, that value is equal to 10. Now draw one line and connect these 2 points, point A and point B. Now this is called the load line. Whenever this load line intersect the base current, what is base current here? Observe here IBQ. IBQ is equal to 15 microamperes. Okay, which one is the 15 microampere line? This is the 15 microamperes. So whenever this point of intersection, it is called the Q point, right? Okay, okay, we discuss in detail how to select Q point, etc., right? Okay, this is simple idea. Now coming to the biasing concepts here. Now we enter into fourth unit, DC biasing. Okay. Okay, different authors and different textbooks explain the concept in different way. Okay, finally the goal is same, right? Only the analysis is different, right? Now observe here. The analysis or design of a transistor require a knowledge of both the DC as well as AC response of the system, right? To analyze the transistor or to design the transistor as an amplifier, we require a both AC response as well as DC response. Okay, and too often it is assumed that the transistor is a magical device that can raise the level of the applied AC input without the assistance of an external energy source. Okay, without applying except some bias voltage, we need not to apply any external energy source, right? The transistor itself rise the input AC signal at the output side. Then where the energy is utilized means the improved output AC power level is the result of a transfer of energy from the applied DC supplies. Okay, how the transistor rises the input signal at the output side means it receives the energy from the DC supplies, right? Okay. Now, second, the analysis or design of any electronic amplifier therefore has two components. One is the DC portion and second one is the AC portion. Okay, analysis wise or design wise, we must acquire the sufficient knowledge about DC concept as well as AC concept. Okay, fortunately, the superposition theorem is applicable and investigation of the DC conditions can be totally separated from the AC responses. Okay. Okay. Fortunately, the superposition theorem is applicable for separately, applicable for AC as well as DC. Okay. We can analyze the transistor DC analysis separately as well as AC analysis separately. Okay, still the superposition theorem is valid. And important point is, observe here, one must keep in mind that during the design or synthesis stage of a choice of parameters for the required DC levels will also affect the AC response and vice versa. Okay, when the analysis is separately, we can analyze separately. DC analysis separate, AC analysis separate, but the levels or the values are interrelated. The effect, if we calculated the DC value, suppose VBB or VCC, that will also affect the AC response also. Okay, then the DC level of the portion, sorry, the DC level of operation of a transistor is controlled by a number of factors, including range of possible operating points on the device characteristics. Okay, the operation of a transistor is controlled by the not only a simple bias, some other factors also. The important factor is operating points on the device characteristics. Once the desired DC current or voltage levels has been defined, we can easily construct the or design the transistor amplifier that will establish the desired operating point. Okay. Simply or briefly, what we can say about transistor biasing is, for a transistor to function properly as an amplifier. Okay, here the application is amplifier. As an amplifier, An external DC supply voltage must be applied to produce the desired collector current. Bias is defined as a control voltage or current. These are the different ways of definitions of bias. Is nothing but applying a control voltage or controlled current. Transistor must be biased correctly to produce the desired circuit voltages and currents. Okay, why we need biasing? Okay, already we know to keep the transistor in active region, we require a bias. Okay, and some other points. Observe here. If a signal of very small voltage is given to the input of BJT, it cannot be amplified. Okay, if you apply the input signal, AC input signal, very small voltage. Okay, let us say some 0.3 volts. The transistor cannot amplify. Why? Because, observe here, for a BJT to amplify a signal, two conditions have to meet, right? What is first condition? The input voltage should exceed the cut-in voltage for the transistor to be on. So whatever we applied input voltage, that voltage should exceed the cut-in voltage VBE. Okay, then only transistor enter into on. Otherwise, transistor enter into off. And second one is the BJT should be in active region. Okay, these two are the important conditions. If these two conditions satisfied, then only transistor operated as an amplifier, right? One is input voltage greater than cut-in voltage, and second one is transistor should be in active region. Okay. If appropriate DC voltages and currents are given through the BJT by external sources, so that BJT operates in active region and superimpose the AC signals to be amplified, then this problem can be solved or avoided. The given DC voltage and currents are so chosen that the transistor remains in active region for the entire input AC cycle. Okay, for this purpose, we require a DC biasing. Okay, this is an example here. This is CB configuration. We are not applied any input signal. Now let us consider here. We are not applied any input signal here. Now we are the consider here. Okay, this is AC signal. This is AC input signal. Suppose AC input signal is 0. Now this bias keeps the transistor is in active region. Okay. The below figure shows the transistor amplifier that is provided with a DC biasing on both input as well as output side. So now after applying the bias, now you may apply some AC input signal, then it will be amplified version at the output side. Okay, that is the idea. So this is actual your input signal, AC input signal, sinusoidal signal. This is VI, and the purpose of VEB and VCB is to provide a bias to keep the transistor is in active region. After that only we apply, right? Without input or without bias, transistor cannot act like an amplifier. Okay, now we studied DC load line in detail. Now consider these are all the CE configuration output characteristics. How to draw the DC load line already we know. Okay. When a line is drawn joining the saturation and cutoff points, such a line can be called as a load line. Okay. output characteristics. In that output characteristics, we have to draw a one line between 2 points. What is the point in y-axis? That point is called saturation point. In x-axis, that point is called cutoff point, right? This line, when drawn over the output characteristics curve, makes a contact at a point as operating point. Whenever you draw this line, it will intersect the output characteristics at one point. That point is called operating point or quiescent point. Okay, the quiescent point, simply it is called the Q point. Right? Observe here one more. There can be many such intersecting points, but Q point is selected such a way that irrespective of AC signal swing, the transistor remains in active region. Okay, this is an important point here. Observe here, this DC load line intersects so many points at the output characteristic. Okay, here I am indicating a red dot. This is one. Okay, this is one. Then how to select a Q point? Okay, okay, there can be many such intersecting points, but the Q point is selected such a way that irrespective of AC signal swing, the transistor remains in active region. Sorry. The operating point should not get disturbed as it should remain stable to achieve faithful amplification. And one more important point is the operating point should not be disturbed, right? It should be stable. Why it should be stable means to achieve a faithful amplification. Hence, Q point is the value where the faithful amplification is achieved. Okay. Now, what is meant by faithful amplification? Already we know the amplification. What is meant by faithful amplification? Observe here. The process of increasing the signal strength, right? That is called the amplifier. The process of increasing the signal strength or amplitude. Okay, both are signal strength or amplitude. Okay, all are same meaning. Amplitude. Okay, is called the amplification. This amplification, when done without any loss in the component of the signal. Then what is faithful amplification here? Amplification is done without any loss in the component of the signal. Now let us consider here, this is your input signal here, sinusoidal input signal. Okay, here it is the Q point. Okay, we are drawn a one DC load line. We are identify the DC load line and corresponding current IB current. When you plot the IC current here, observe here, output voltage here, output voltage same as input voltage shape. What is shape of the input signal here? Sinusoidal. What is shape of the output signal? Sinusoidal but amplified version. Okay, only amplitude is different. Remaining all are same, right? Okay, sometimes phase also change, 180-degree phase shift. Okay, sometimes. But frequency should be same. Okay. The shape of the input signal same as, sorry, the shape of the output signal same as the input signal. Frequency of the output signal same as input signal. Only one change is amplitude or sometimes phase. That is called the faithful amplification. This can be achieved only when operating point is selected approximately middle of the DC load line, right? Okay. Now operating point is selected near the saturation point. Okay, this portion is about saturation region, all this portion. Now we have to select the operating point near the saturation point. Now what happened means, observe here, certain portion of the negative cycle, certain portion of the negative cycle is clipped off. Now it act as a clipper, not an amplifier. It now the circuit act as a clipper circuit. It will clip off certain portion of negative cycle. This portion not appear at the output. Okay. Why? Because the transistor enter into saturation region. In saturation region and current is limited. Okay, maximum current is limited. And output voltage also VC is equal to VCE saturation, right? Okay, that is the drawback. Okay, whenever you choose the operating point near the saturation point, what happened? Negative portion is clipped off. Now the circuit act as a clipper, not a amplifier circuit. Now second possibility, operating point near the cutoff region. Okay, now this is the operating point. Input is same. Now here in this case, what happened here? Positive portion, positive cycle, certain portion is clipped off. Sorry, here in this case also, the transistor acts like a clipper circuit, not an amplifier circuit. Why? Because the operating point is selected such a way that near by the cutoff region. Whenever you choose the operating point nearby the cutoff region, certain portion of positive cycle is clipped off. Why? Because here the what is output VCE, here the maximum output is VCC. Okay, beyond that we cannot get. Okay, at this point VCC is reached, right? So the signal like this. So certain portion of positive cycle is clipped off. In this case, transistor acts like a clipper circuit, not an amplifier circuit. So based on two cases, we have to conclude that operating point is selected approximately middle of the DC load line, so that there is no clipping taking place at the output side, right? Okay, output sinusoidal, there is no distortions at the output. Okay. Some of the conclusions here. To ensure faithful amplification, the following basic conditions must be satisfied. Proper zero signal collector current, minimum proper base to emitter voltage, minimum proper collector to emitter voltage at any instant. The fulfillment of these conditions ensure that the transistor works over the active region, having input forward biased and output reverse biased. Okay. Now what is the meaning of proper zero signal collector current? Observe here, this is the CE configuration. Here it is the emitter is connected to ground here. We are not applied VBE. Now analyze the circuit. Now what happened means here, for positive cycle, okay, it is a positive, here it is a NPN transistor. Okay, no doubt emitter base junction is forward bias. Of course, there is a resistor. Then IB current flows. Whenever IB current flows, IC also flows, right? Okay. So output content positive cycle. Okay. Now what about negative cycle? Observe here negative cycle. We are not applied any bias voltage here. For all negative cycle, observe this diode base to emitter junction is in reverse bias. So IB is equal to 0, IC also 0, output is equal to 0. So without applying the bias, the transistor cannot acts like a amplifier. Now this acts like a clipper. Okay, this circuit allows only positive cycles. It does not allows the negative cycles. Why? Because for all negative inputs, BJT enter into off, IB is equal to 0, IC also 0, output is equal to 0. Now consider this circuit. What is this circuit here? Already there is some bias voltage is applied. Observe here. Already there is some bias voltage is applied. Now in this bias voltage, okay, this is positive. Sorry. Okay, this is positive here. This is plus and minus. Now what happened? Whenever we apply some AC input signal, now this is actually taking place at the input side also same. Now due to this bias, during positive cycle, okay, no problem. During negative cycle, what happened? Already we applied bias voltage. Now this look like this. Okay. This is about VBB. I drawn here. Now the input signal becomes like a, this is 0 and this is VBB. Now in that VBB input signal is superimposed. Okay. Right? Okay, now this DC level changes here. Now this is the VBB. Now this is the input. Now positive cycle, what happened? No problem. Okay, input also positive, already biasing also positive. For what about negative here? Minimum negative also positive here, right? Okay, during entire this negative, but it is superimposed on DC level. Okay, this type of signal is called superimposed on DC level. So now everything is in positive only. Now all this thing is positive only. That means irrespective of whether input is a positive cycle or negative cycle, this junction is in forward bias. Base to emitter junction is in forward bias. Right? Now we may apply positive cycle or negative or complete negative, same as it is transferred to the output side with amplified version. Right? Okay, once again here. Okay, here the concept here is, without a DC bias, what happens means it acts like a clipper circuit. Observe here. For positive cycle, no problem. For negative cycle, transistor enter into off. So output is equal to 0. Now in next figure, we are included a some DC source. We are included a DC source. This DC source always keep the transistor base to emitter junction is in forward bias, right? Base to emitter junction is in forward bias. This is x-axis. Okay, this is something like VBB. Here only your input signal is superimposed. So now with respect to the x-axis, all the signal is above the 0. So irrespective of positive cycle or negative cycle, always transistor is in active region only. Okay, that is the concept of biasing, right? Okay, this is about the concept of biasing and how to choose a operating point, right? Remember this one, how to choose operating point. You have to choose the operating point approximately middle of the DC load line, so that it will act as a amplifier. If you choose the nearby cutoff point or nearby saturation point, some portion is clipped off. Now the circuit acts like a clipper circuit, not a amplifier circuit, right? Then how to draw the DC load line? Okay, how to draw the DC load line? We have to identify the points on y-axis. When you point on y-axis, x value is equal to 0. When you point on x-axis, y value is equal to 0. First of all, write the KVL, output KVL equation. In that output KVL equation, identify the x, identify the y. Then we have to point out point A and point B on DC load line. Then draw a one line. Okay, already explained this one. Identify the point A, point B, and just simply join these 2 points. That is called the DC load line. Then how to choose? How to choose means approximately middle of the DC load line. Okay, that is about today's class. You have any doubts, please post in your WhatsApp group.